Outlander, See Blood of My Blood has been building tension with every episode, but episode 7 brought things to an entirely new level. Just when Ellen thought her problems couldn't get worse, the Grants hit her with a demand that could completely destroy her. It wasn't about cattle, land, or clan politics this time. It was something much more personal, something that questioned her worth as a woman and threatened to tear down her honor. For Ellen, there is now only one option left, and it's the most drastic one of all. She has to run away with Brian, because every other choice would not only destroy her, but also drag her entire clan into ruin. The shocking twist came when the Grants demanded a purity test. In simple terms, they want Ellen to prove that her virtue is still intact, which is their polite way of saying they want to test if she's still a virgin. For viewers, this is a frustrating and emotional moment. We know Ellen isn't a virgin, and more importantly, she shouldn't have to be put through something so humiliating and degrading. It's not just insulting, it's a dangerous request, because refusing to comply would raise suspicions and dishonor her family name. But agreeing would be even worse, because the truth would come out. Ellen never imagined that her personal choices would become a bargaining chip in clan politics, but that's exactly where she's ended up. She knows if she refuses, her reputation is finished. People will whisper that she has something to hide. That kind of scandal could damage her family more than Dougal MacKenzie's Jacobite involvement ever could. It could be worse than the MacKenzie's financial struggles, worse than any feud with rival clans. Ellen's whole world has suddenly shrunk into this one impossible demand, and she can see no honorable way forward. That's why there is only one option left: to run away with Brian. This might sound like the kind of romantic, rash decision you'd expect in a love story, but in this case, it's also the smartest and most logical move Ellen could make. Staying means humiliation and the destruction of her clan's standing. Running means freedom, but it also means risking everything to follow her heart. Of course, running away isn't something she can do alone. Ellen would need to get word to Brian somehow, and the easiest way might be through Glenna, who already knows about the hand fasting. Glenna could then reach out to Murtagh, who, despite his anger with Brian right now, could be persuaded to help. In fact, this might be the one thing that softens Murtagh's attitude, bringing him back to Brian's side. What Ellen doesn't know is that Brian already has some idea of what's happening. The whispers and doubts about Ellen's purity have reached him too. More surprisingly, Simon Fraser is also in on the secret. And instead of being furious or disapproving, Simon is actually supportive. He sees Ellen and Brian's love as a potential advantage, a way to strengthen the bond between clans and position himself more powerfully in the political game. Simon's blessing, or even his encouragement, could make all the difference. Still, it's not as simple as Brian picking up Ellen and riding off into the night. In the previous episode, Brian tried to stand up to his father, and Simon hit back hard, threatening Brian's mother, Davina. That revealed Brian's biggest weakness, his love for his mother and fear for her safety. Simon knows how to pull his son's strings, and Brian isn't the type to act recklessly if it means endangering his family. That's why Brian won't just decide to run away unless Simon allows it, or better yet, suggests it. If Simon does step in, it could open up the perfect solution. He could tell Brian to take Ellen and hide away, offering them a safe place to stay. This would explain something Outlander has never fully addressed in the original series: how Brian and Ellen managed to disappear together until Ellen's pregnancy was too obvious to ignore. It would make sense that someone of Simon's power and influence helped protect them during that time. With Ellen tied to the Fraser family, the union would strengthen Simon's position and ensure the MacKenzies were allies instead of enemies. For Ellen, the idea of submitting to the purity test is unthinkable. Not only is it invasive and degrading, it's also unfair. Even if she were a virgin, who's to say the results would actually be in her favor? Such tests are not only cruel, but also unreliable. And the most disturbing part is that this kind of demand isn't just a fictional plotline. Even today, in some parts of the world, women are still forced to undergo similar tests to prove their virtue. The show makes a bold statement here, highlighting how women's honor has historically been treated as something to be measured, bargained, and controlled. Ellen's fight against this demand is not only a personal struggle, it's symbolic of a bigger issue that still resonates today. The audience knows that Ellen and Brian's love story is legendary within Outlander's history. Their romance is what gives us Jamie Fraser, one of the most iconic characters in the franchise. But watching their story unfold in Blood of My Blood shows just how much they had to sacrifice to be together. It wasn't just about love. It was about survival, about defying expectations, about finding a way to protect their honor when the world was stacked against them. Right now, Ellen has reached a breaking point. She's out of time and out of options. The purity test isn't something she can escape by clever words or political maneuvering. Running away with Brian is the only way forward. It's risky, it's dangerous, and it could cost them everything, but it also feels inevitable. In fact, for viewers who already know the broader Outlander story, it's the moment we've been waiting for. The choice to run is what sets everything in motion for the generations that follow. Simon Fraser's potential role here adds another fascinating layer. If he truly does encourage Brian to take Ellen, it would show that even in a world driven by power and control, sometimes love and alliance can work together. Simon is a manipulator, but in this case, his manipulation could give Brian and Ellen the chance they desperately need. It could explain why their time together in hiding felt so protected, why they weren't immediately hunted down, and how Ellen was able to carry Jamie to term without interference. Outlander, Blood of My Blood has done an incredible job of giving us more insight into these characters we've only heard about in the original series. We're finally seeing Ellen not as a name in Jamie's family tree, but as a woman with her own struggles, her own heartbreaks, and her own impossible choices. And in this episode, we see her pushed into the harshest corner yet. The purity test demand makes clear just how little control women had in these clan negotiations. Ellen's honor is being treated like property, like currency to be tested and measured. The only way she can reclaim her power is to reject the game entirely, and that means leaving everything behind to choose love over politics. As the season moves forward, all eyes will be on whether Ellen can get word to Brian in time, whether Simon will step in to help, and whether Murta might once again prove himself as a loyal friend. Whatever happens, it's clear that this is the turning point. From this moment, there's no going back. For Ellen, the choice is clear. She can't face the Grant's demand. She can't allow herself to be humiliated and broken. There's only one way forward, and it's the path that leads her to Brian. Outlander, Blood of My Blood has set the stage for a runaway love story, and it's one that will change everything.